Dr. Nirmesh Jain about, he said that he has some very interesting thing to talk about optimal health, and he has PowerPoint also. So listen very carefully, because a lot of PV can be done, because the goal is to do 500 PV personal circle. Okay. So this is fantastic moment to hear from a cancer scientist for, I don't know how many years, okay, right? And he has wealth of knowledge, okay. So without any further delay, let's welcome Dr. Nirmesh Jain, oh, yeah.
Uh, Thank you so much, Sanjeev. I wouldn't be taking too much of time, guys. I know it was not planned, but I really found it very interesting because health is one of my prime area, and I hope you find value in it. I mean, otherwise Sanjeev will tell me next time when I text hey, don't come over, okay? So let me share the screen with you guys straight away to get into the subject. So Sanjeev, it is not a PowerPoint, but it is let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see the screen, guys?
Yes.
Sanjeev,
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let me zoom it up. I think you can read. Can you read, guys? Is it? I hope it is visible. There's some highlighted areas. Okay.
Yes, sir.
See, we always talk about this opportunity into different dimensions. Okay. One is adding a value to the client. That not everybody, 80% people, they just want to stay healthy. Okay. And there are something that I would talk that which I really talk to people at the end of the health conversation, that what is your health worth to you, okay? So this is something, chapter number 16, that you would find in the book that I've shared. It's an amazing book. You'll find this author has written 29 to 30 books, okay? He has worked with a Nobel Prize winner called Dr. Linus Pauling. He was given a Nobel Prize for using vitamin C in treating incurable diseases. Now, we all as an individual, like I see 45 people on the call. See, you need to understand this term called homocysteine, okay? This is your most important health statistic if you want to live long, okay? So I've highlighted just few lines. Forget your blood pressure, your cholesterol, even your weight. There's one factor that can determine better than any other whether you will live long and healthy or die young. It is called homocysteine. Okay. Now, what is homocysteine? Let me help you understand that. So it's a kind of a protein. In fact, it is more of an amino acid. Okay, which is produced by the body, because when we eat proteins breaks down into different amino acids, and one of them is called methionine. Okay, which ideally should be present in very low quantities. Now, how much quantities? It is about 15 millimolar. That is what it should be in the bloodstream. Okay. But it gets, you really want to understand that methionine is there. So it is going to be there, but it can accumulate to a larger quantities. Okay, so if you read this, what is homocysteine? Homocysteine is produced from the amino acid methionine, which is found in the normal dietary protein. In itself is not a bad news, okay? But it actually thickens your blood. How does it thickens your blood? Your body naturally turns it into one of the two beneficial substances. This is, so let's say you get methionine. By having several biological processes, it gets converted into two molecules. One is called glutathione, very potent antioxidant. Okay, so we want methionine to give us glutathione. Okay, that's one thing you got to understand. The body's most important antioxidant, and there's another one called SMA. Don't worry about the name. It is called adenosyl methionine. This is another very powerful and intelligent molecule, which actually works with the brain and the body together. Okay. So what is the summary here? We need methionine. Methionine gets converted into two different things called glutathione or SMA. Okay. But for these, and both are required by the body. We need glutathione. We also need SMA. But the problem is, your optimal amounts of B vitamins in your diet, the enzymes that turn homocysteine into these beneficial substances, otherwise it won't work well. So what you need is B vitamins. For the methionine to give you two of these powerful molecules, you need B vitamins. Okay. Now, what happens here is the following. So this is the mechanism. Okay, if you really understand. So this is your diet. Let's say you're taking plant protein. You're getting essential amino acid methionine. Now it undergoes two different pathways. Okay, one is it can give you glutathione, which is going to support your immunity and many other things. But how does it convert? So it needs B6, B12, and zinc, okay? It needs B6, B2, and zinc to give you glutathione. Or the second pathway is that homocysteine that gets released in the blood will utilize B2, B12, and zinc, okay? And this is called trimethylglycerine and B12, and it will give you SMA. So people who are having Alzheimer's disease, okay, for example, if you do not have this particular molecule, that can result into a memory loss, to Alzheimer's, to many things, okay? Now, the most important thing is none of this will work. This will get accumulated in the blood if we do not have enough B12, B6, B2, zinc, and or TMG, right? Now, this gentleman talks about RDA, okay? RDA is a myth. What he talks about is RDA is a ridiculous dosages amounts. When you say somebody like 60 milligram vitamin C, that is needed. It is a minimum level. If you don't have that, you will develop disease like scurvy. But for body to work optimally, for example, methionine to work and give you this, you need vitamin C at many locations. So that RDA is actually not the right amount a healthy body should use. It is in fact like around 3000 milligram. Okay, so let's not get into that. But you need to understand that RDA is not for the normal human body. Okay. So I hope you understood this, that we need B12. Now, what is where we go from here? Okay, let's talk about the research. Okay, cancer. This particular molecule is responsible for many diseases. If we have higher level of homocysteine, so when you do your blood test, okay, you should always read your homocysteine levels. They should be always down 15 millimolar. Okay. So cancer is about 85% preventable. Research published in the New England Journal of Medicine describing a study involving 45,000 pairs of twins found that cancer is more likely to be caused by diet and lifestyle choices than by genes. Okay, so mark these two words, diet and lifestyle. Okay, now it has nothing to do, I mean, it has something to do with the genes, but genes can be altered. They should have the right environment around them. See, many a time your father may have a diabetic history, or grandfather may have that kind of a history, but we don't want to pass it to our offspring. How can we do that? We provide that gene in the right environment of the nutrients, the clean water that we drink, and we get rid of this internal pollution. Okay, so I hope you cancer is triggered by damage to DNA, and having a high homocysteine level makes your DNA more vulnerable to damage and not easily properly repaired once damaged. Okay, that's what you see in XX. If you see XX reduces the DNA fragmentation by 13 times because it has got B vitamins as well. And before you start taking individual vitamins, it is very important to take a multivitamin, because there's a gentleman called Dr. Rath. He's very popular in America, and he has done a clinical studies and research where he talks about that a multivitamin is, there's a term called synergistic effect, that most of these vitamins may not work if they are not present at the same time. That's why multivitamin is there. It's not just a single vitamin. And then you can add on to that, like for example, drinking this thing is good. Okay, it gives you a lot of B vitamins. Okay, now moving forward, diabetes, Alzheimer's, many diseases. Okay, so I'll just take you
Nirmesh, what you said in the blood test, right? Homocysteine level. What should be the normal? What should be the good level? It should be low. But what do you think?
It is 15 micromolar. Sanjeev.
I did 1.5.
1.5, yes.
1.5 micromolar. So you will see that in your blood report. Then is that right? So the homocysteine. Okay. So if someone is higher than 15, that means it's not good then, right? Like it's going, right? Okay.
So how it is not good, let's understand that. Okay. So let's say you have a more than 15 micromolar in your bloodstream. Now blood goes to every single cell. That means it is going to be present around the DNA, and that way it can damage the DNA. But if I have regulated homocysteine levels by having enough B vitamins, that is where this can be very, very important. It costs you $0.50. Okay. Now, if somebody's health is not even worth $0.50 a day, then you forget about him, because you can only educate people. This is a book which is written by a gentleman who's worked with the Nobel Prize winner. Okay. So these are some of the areas if you're feeling. So I put my timer so that I do not go over time.
No, it's
But
okay. You can talk, Yeah,
so
go
what
ahead.
happens here is the following, Sanjeev. Okay. Let's say if somebody is having a genetic inheritance. Okay. Don't worry about that. Genes can be repaired given that you have the right environment. Okay. Folate intake of less than 900 microgram per day, increasing age, male sex, estrogen deficiency, smoking, lack of exercise. All these are some of the risk factor for you to have higher homocysteine levels. Okay. Now, so what are the ways you can cut down your homocysteine levels? And these are some of the V vitamins that he talks about. I would highly recommend everybody to actually read this chapter number 16, just for yourself. Okay. If you don't read the whole book, don't worry about it. Okay. But at least read chapter number 16. Okay. So that that helps you with a lot of other things. Okay. In this particular book, in the very first page, I can connect it very, very well with the research that was published a few years ago, that now a time has come where we can repair the genes by having the right environment around the genes. And in the book, you'll see one diagram. I did not highlight the diagram, but there's a one diagram which talks about next time whenever I'll come, I'll maybe in my health talk, I'll have that particular diagram as the front page of my talk. Okay. So where we are talking about is genes, and by having the right environment around it, how we can repair the genes so that they do not pass on to offspring. And we have a responsibility to do that if you really think about it. Let's say my grandfather was not having, don't get offended if somebody doesn't have hairs. Okay. Let's say he did not have hairs. Okay. Now I do not want to pass on that offspring to my son or to their son, right? So what I can do is I can really correct, or let's say somebody has a heart attack history, somebody has a blood pressure history, somebody has a cancer history. Okay. Your genetic makeup is always going to be with you. Your genes are always going to be carried forward, but you can change them. So I hope, Sanjeev, I added some value, and I hope you guys found it a bit useful. $1.50. If nothing works, even business, if let's say somebody doesn't, but promote this big time. Like I have my son who's 18, my daughter is 16, and my wife and myself, we have a tough time if my kids don't take this particular product. So doing 500 PV, see, always think about this. This is how I think. Okay, this is what we have learned from Sanjeev and Sona. That we have to add value to the community in some other way. Like this opportunity now is just not about being emerald. We're going to go diamond this year. That's what the goal is, and we want to add big time to the Sanjeev's EDC SIP, and that. So that's why you'll keep seeing me sometime in FNH in US. That it has changed my life. It has added value in my life. Having a control on time and money so that I can spend more time. And now we have an opportunity to add value in people's life. Okay. Another testimonial that Sanjeev I had was on this particular product. I'm a big fan of this. Okay. I guarantee you, sometimes disease comes for a blessing. I had a very tough situation with my bloated stomach, and with gassing and growling and this particular, I can guarantee you, if you take it for 6 months, now don't wonder in a day, okay, because genes don't get repaired in a day. Okay. If you take this religiously, 2 stick for 6 months, I guarantee you, you will get rid of the growling, the gassing. Your tummy, which looks like a fat, will go inside, and maybe 6 months down the track, you will see me in singlet. Okay. So that's what the goal is. So what I'm trying to make a point here is the following. This is one of the very powerful part. Now we are a business partner, we are a business owner. Okay. If you do not experience these products on yourself, and don't be just, somebody came to me and he said only 1 stick. I said, well, you can take 3 sticks, 4 sticks, whatever you want, but get your problem out. Okay. So that you have a belief. So Sanjeev, that's pretty much from my side, but these are some of the products that I really, which can add a huge value to the community, to the client, to the people who may not be a part of the opportunity. And those are 80% people. We just have to share with them. They will never be a part of the business, but they'll use product and they'll thank you for that, because it is going to solve their problem. We are here to educate people, not to, like Sanjeev talks about, to suck people like a vacuum cleaner. And if they still don't do it, even God comes to them and says, look, I'm Mr. God, you trust me. They'll never trust you. Okay, so you have to leave those people aside. Okay, thank you so much, Sanjeev, for hearing me, and I hope I
there are some questions, but I think Gab is asking, clinical research states that double X reduce the damage to DNA. Can we claim that double repairs DNA? I think there is a research paper,
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, you can, it's there. Maybe somebody can pull that and post it. That will be great, okay,
It's
right?
very good. This is amazing.
But it is there. I know that, okay, right?
Yep.
And it is also mentioned that it reduces homocysteine level. So high levels of homocysteine causes dementia, you said. What else is causes?
Alzheimer, diabetes, heart attacks.
Heart
Because
attack,
it's no good.
So, Nirmesh, what is the normal level of homocysteine that should be there? And it should be below 15, but for a normal human person, like let's say it should be 7, 6, it should be, I mean, 15 is, it should be below 15, so it can't be 14, right? It has to be.
Yeah, it is good to be below 15 micromolar.
Okay,
That's it. Okay.
I think we'll check that out, in the blood test, maybe
So anytime,
I'll call
anytime whenever you do your blood test, first thing that you need to look at is what is my homocysteine level.
So the lower it is, the better it is. Is that what it is?
The better.
that means that the B vitamins are working then, correct? That's why it is lower than, right? Otherwise, it is getting converted into those two things. I can't even pronounce those names, but it gets, otherwise it is not getting converted, that's the whole thing. And that's why immunity is not there, if the homocysteine level, guys, this is a fantastic way to add value to people's life. Then don't think selling here. We're not talking about learning another cool way of selling stuff. Ask them, okay, right? Okay. They check your blood report, and see what your levels are, and even if it is normal, it can go abnormal. So it is a even better, great idea to maintain that, and double X will help you. Okay, right? Fantastic information. And the other thing is 25th of this month. I think we said 7 p.m., right? US time, 25th?
Yep.
Okay, 25th, 7 p.m. Can someone make a flyer of you, Nirmesh? Would you assign someone in say, maybe Sarthak Satyam can do that, okay, right? And then, so 7 p.m., September 25th, there will be a health for US only, especially it will be for US, Canada market, okay, right? So the products which we are going to talk about is US, Canada. So Nirmesh Jain is going to do that special, talk. Okay, you can invite your customers, IBOs, new IBOs, old IBOs who are not there in the business. Anybody, invite everybody. Okay, right? So make a nice flyer. Okay, and then let's promote that event. Thank you, Nirmesh. Okay, I know today it was a little long, but it was
very good.